Welcome to Co-Founder Therapy.
Hosted by Jen.
Hi, and Mika.
Hi.
We're friends, co-founders, and the creators behind Salutasana.
This podcast explores the real conversations behind building something meaningful together.
Each episode is meant to be more than something you listen to.
It's a resource to help spark honest and necessary conversations with your own co-founder. Hi guys, Mika here. This is the final episode of Season 1, and in this episode we sit with a question that every founder eventually has to ask. Is this worth pursuing, or does something need to change? What starts as a conversation about money, investment, and fairness evolves into something much bigger. How to recognize when you're too attached to an idea, what burnout can do to your perspective, and why listening to the people you want to serve matters more than protecting your original vision. We unpack the realities of balancing work, life, and business, and how reconnecting with your values can help you decide whether to pivot, persevere, or redefine success entirely. We hope you enjoy.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How was your day?
It was awesome. Good weekend overall.
It was a really good
It's
weekend.
Sunday night. We're recording on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
What else is new?
Recording on Sunday night at 10 p.m.
We're such hard workers.
We're so hardworking. Look at us be working on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show how much we care and how much we love what we're doing.
Yeah. No, it doesn't even feel like work.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
How lucky is that? Okay, but the topic of our discussion today is, should we pivot? Heavy. But can it be? Is it?
I think it always is a little hard.
All right, let's
It's
get
a little
into
hard
it.
to change directions. Don't you think?
Yes, we've talked about this before. We really like having just speeding down just a straight road.
No,
But as soon
yeah.
as you have to switch it up or turn or even slightly change direction, you have to slow down.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't like curves or speed bumps.
Yeah. Messes with your momentum.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Okay, so the reason why we talked about this is because last podcast was about money, and we just wanted to make sure that we are making smart decisions, but we also wanted to outline what things will make you decide to pivot, and whether this is a business that is smart to continue, or do we need to change it and warp it in some way? Not stop it. What?
Warp it.
Warp it. That is a funny word.
Modify it.
Modify. Yeah.
Change it. Tweak it. That's
Workshop it.
Yes.
Those are our words.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a few things that we were going to discuss. First off, let's follow up with what we were speaking about for the last podcast, which was, how much have we invested?
Yeah. And what are we comfortable with in terms of the balance, I guess, of how much we both invested? Because we hadn't really been keeping like super, super close track.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had a gut feel of what it was. And you were talking about the ratios that you were comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I was also, well, I made the point that I was comfortable with whatever the ratios were, as long as they were properly tracked. So we gave ourselves homework.
And we just finished it.
Yeah, as all great students, do.
Yep.
Just wait till the last minute.
Yeah, but it was good to see the numbers. At first, I was a little scared because the first numbers that we put in so far was 70-30.
Well, 35-65. Yeah.
Right. 65-35. And I was like, even from last podcast week, I said, like, I'm comfortable with maybe 60-40. But that was on the borderline of uncomfortable. Yeah. Like 70-30 did not want.
So what were the thoughts that
I was
you
like,
had when you
man, like, I thought I had invested more into this. Like, I genuinely thought I was doing my fair share. And I was kind of upset with myself because I really thought that we were gut feeling and going almost 50-50. Like, I know I wasn't able to do 100% 50-50. I knew that already, but I was like, for the first iteration, I was kind of scared that it was 35%. And I thought to myself, am I not pulling any weight in this? This is really upsetting to me.
I'm so sorry. And like the thing is that that's not where we ended because
No.
there were bigger ticket expenses that we had shared
Yeah.
that actually weren't included in that calculation.
Yeah.
And once we added that,
I felt a lot better.
yeah, because it was, what was it?
It was 43.57.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 43.57. So pretty close to being even.
Yeah. I like that way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Obviously, I still want it to be, I mean, ideal is 50-50. But sometimes in a bad month, you can't fork up that 50-50. And so it makes it a lot harder to meet that. But I was so much happier when I saw the 43 and the 57. I was really relieved.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that exercise.
Me too.
It's good to
know.
validate. I mean, your gut feel was already that it was pretty equal.
Mhm.
So it's good to validate that
Yeah.
that was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad we looked at the numbers. So we did invest 53% on Jen's side, 57 on Jen's side. I'm getting the numbers mixed up. 43 on my side. With those numbers, and we collectively know how much we spent, is that still comfortable for you to continue in this business?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
That's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with those numbers, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the risk is pretty evenly spread.
Yeah.
Like it's never going to be perfect 50-50.
Yeah.
Like even once you start running a business, you know, like fully operational,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty hard to always be 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
It is really just about tracking it and then reconciling it on some sort of regular basis, whether that be quarterly or probably quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know that I had a gut feel of where I think it was going to land. Because it like, so for example, you know, there are just like recurring charges that hit my accounts.
Right.
But you often do like big sort of one-off purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me to sort of mentally calculate and reconcile a year's worth of expenses.
Yeah.
To know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. I am really happy with knowing.
Yeah, and I think moving forward, if we do basically update our expenses like on a monthly basis, monthly or quarterly, even quarterly, I think would be okay.
Yeah.
For a while. Yeah, then we can just kind of we can both be able to hold ourselves accountable to trying to keep it as equal as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds good. Okay.
I'm so sorry that was my fault. I failed to account for the expenses that we had shared into that first number. Okay. So I didn't mean for you to like panic and be disappointed. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I mean, like, even when we were doing the calculations, all those numbers, after a while, it just becomes a blur. And so you don't fully process it. Yeah, and I was just, it was interesting. It wasn't as scary because of just, like, how I'm getting used to seeing numbers. It wasn't as scary, but it was more like, dang, I thought it was a little bit higher than that. Shoot.
And you were.
Yeah, so, okay. That's a big thing off my shoulders. Okay, so for the money part, we're still good. That part is not going to change. But in the past, has money been an issue for pivoting a business?
Has money been an issue for pivoting a business? Well, in the sense that if you're not making any, you know, if if your business isn't performing the way that you think it's going to,
Mm.
or if your customers are not responding in the way that you think
Mm-hmm.
they will to your product or your service, like that's usually when the question comes up of should we pivot.
Mm-hmm.
We actually don't have that. Like we're not asking ourselves, should we pivot based on customer feedback? And we're still pre-revenue.
Yeah.
So it's not also not really based on numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, this is a gut check. And this is also not the first time that we've asked ourselves if we should pivot.
Yeah.
Like when was it when we did the whole like human-centered design exercise to kind of workshop, like literally workshop and reimagine what Saludasana could offer women entrepreneurs and female business professionals. Do you remember like we had like about 1 million sticky notes on the wall? And in the end, we landed on the same thing.
Yeah.
So it was like a 2 or 3 day exercise just
Yeah.
to validate that we still felt that we were aligned and on the same page, and that what we have to offer and what we believe our target sort of market is looking for is still the same.
I think it's really, when I reflect on that weekends actually, it took a little bit of time to fully complete it. How funny and ridiculous now that I'm processing it was to be so frustrated, but also happy that we landed on the same answer.
Yeah.
Like we went through all of like this 2 weekend.
It was frustrating.
Yeah. 2 weekend thing to try to figure out another way. And we're like, nope.
Yeah. Is there
answer.
a better business model?
Yeah.
That we're negating because we're so married to this idea that we have. Yeah.
How funny though that we
were frustrated. You're right.
Yeah.
And also, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it did take a couple of weekends. But also I feel like when we went away on vacation and came back, those sticky notes were still up on the wall.
Wow.
I think the sticky notes were up on my wall for quite a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember my parents coming over to my apartment and like looking at the stickies. I don't know if they read them.
That's okay.
But as anybody knows that's done like a really good brainstorm session, there were some really ridiculous ideas on some of those stickies. So anybody reading them would have been really questioning what it was that we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this time, I mean, that time we were, I think the catalyst for that whole exercise and us asking ourselves whether we should pivot our business idea was because we wanted to, I think we wanted to like supercharge our business. Like we wanted to get to the point of being able to generate income sooner.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, I think we're asking ourselves different questions. Like the state of the world is very different than it was 6 months ago.
Yeah. We don't want to be ignorant, and we don't want to pass over the things that are going on around the world and how it affects not only people's desire to go on vacation, but just like day-to-day life, finances, and what they can allot for, and how they feel about traveling, and how they feel about putting themselves in this sort of risk of going somewhere else and, just not being away from home, and being away from home.
Yeah, and like that directly translates to our own risk, right? Like, is it financially feasible?
Yeah, especially with the rising costs of fuel now, everything has doubled.
Yeah, well, everything. So, is it financially feasible for us to host retreats in a faraway land?
A beautiful paradise.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. Well, we both know that this is a scary time, and we have taken a bit of a consensus with the people that were already interested, and they were also expressing a bit of their fear of going away, promising to go away, and even looking forward to going away. Some of them felt guilty to look forward to going away because it's quite a privilege in this time. So, we had a really great idea of doing a retreat here in Vancouver where it's safer, and you're not that far away from home, but it still gives you a moment to achieve that peace that we wanted that we wanted for these girls out of Saludasana. Do you still think that that would be a good avenue that we can start, and hopefully, when the time comes, we can pick up Costa Rica again? Or do you think we should still veer towards Costa Rica?
I think we should still plan towards Costa Rica. But yeah, I think it is a good medium term goal to continue planning more locally based retreats. But the cost that doesn't negate how much it costs. Like the fact that the costs are still increasing locally as well.
Right.
I mean, gas was $2.18 yesterday.
Yeah.
Per liter. So, I think the one smart thing that we did do when we were building out our financial models is knowing that Costa Rica operates basically on the US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
We priced everything to the US dollar.
Yeah.
But even the costs in the US are going up. Yeah. So we made that decision to like mitigate any sort of foreign exchange risk, but I don't think either of us foresaw that there was going to be a war in the Middle East that is impacting us so dramatically and so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So quickly. It's been 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been 6 weeks. So thinking ahead to the fall right now feels difficult to plan ahead. Yeah.
So that is the one of the things that I think is still up in the air of our decision of what should we plan for, because it is hard to plan.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Absolute fucking bummer. My goodness. Now, if it wasn't this, right? And, we didn't have the threat of a war interfering and hurting everybody. In terms of the business, like what other points do you feel would have to be hit in order for us to pivot? Like, I'm trying to think, what other things are important to you? That's it. What other things are important to you to make sure that it gives you that sense of security that we're on the right path? And what are some important points that you flag or you felt in your past that you were like, we need to pivot? Not stop, but just like shift a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of my first tech startups was I built an app for the Apple App Store. It was a long time ago. But I basically built a language learning app.
Wow.
And launched it on the App Store. And didn't get the traction that I wanted. I mean, you always want it to be like an Instagram level of traction. Like Instagram was like an overnight success, literally. That never happens. But I also, part of me knew that a language learning app because I had just come back from living in Spain for 5 years. So language learning there was really important in terms of upskilling for professionals. But here it's different, right? Here, because the main language is English and everybody speaks English, and there's not a lot of urgency to learn any other languages other than as a hobby or out of personal interest. Whereas there it was like literally to like level up
Mm.
To upskill, so that in the marketplace and like the in the as like a job seeker, you would have that on your CV. So yeah, so I was coming back to Canada with that in mind, I guess, like that mentality, and it it just didn't pick up here in Canada.
Mm.
So,
So,
but what happened was I was working with a lot of students. Like I was trying to sell it to university students. And as I was having those conversations with university students, we realized that what they needed was not language learning. What they needed was career
mm.
counseling.
Wow.
Yeah. So I pivoted that platform from
Wow.
connecting students with language teachers to connecting students with industry professionals for real world industry specific career like guidance.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was a really big pivot, and it was hard. It was hard to make that decision.
Wow.
But that was what I kept hearing from students. So every time I was like talking to a student and being like, hey, what are your language learning challenges? Even if they were, ESL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we get a lot of international students. Language was never one of their biggest challenges. The biggest challenges was what are they going to do with their lives?
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah. Yeah,
much bigger
exactly.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do they get their first internship, or how do they
Mm.
get their first job, or how do they even know whether it's an industry that they're interested to enter?
Right.
So because I kept hearing that, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think it's time to pivot this platform,
That's
this app.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first time I pivoted. I don't think I'm trying to think if I've ever started a business that we didn't pivot. We also, I think I might have talked about this in a previous episode, but one of my other businesses was an event production company.
Right, I
So we
remember.
basically through sort of these food festivals, like very kind of like themed food festivals. At the
That's so
time, they
fun.
seemed kind of niche because like nobody was doing anything like it. But we did like a brunch food festival. We did a vegan cocktail soiree, um, and those were financially not super successful, but we
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we met a lot of people from the food and hospitality industry, a lot of chefs, a lot of restaurateurs, a lot of entrepreneurs. Um, and we kept hearing from them. It wasn't that they needed these events as sales channels per se, or sales or marketing channels. I mean, they do need sales and marketing channels, but the persistent problem that we kept hearing from them was that there weren't enough commissary kitchens in Vancouver.
Right.
So then that business also basically pivoted from being an event company
Mm-hmm.
to being a commissary kitchen company.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow.
So it really is just about listening
Listening.
to what people need.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is exciting because we are very soon going to have an event and a little dinner party where we are going to be asking, the people that we want to invite to these retreats, what they need if we had a retreat here, or even just what they're looking for in terms of peace and a vacation and a little bit of leadership, just like the mix of whatever it is they're searching for. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have to consider a different pivot just because we listen to them,
Mm-hmm.
right? We listen to the demographic that we're reaching. So that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is kind of like common advice, but it's definitely advice that I've heard that I've taken to heart, which is not to get too married to your idea.
Yeah.
But you have to be to a certain point, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
always that balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like, especially in the tech world where I used to work, it was always, on the one hand, you're balancing this idea that, CEOs are like delusional and they're just single-mindedly determined to realize their ideas, no matter if everyone tells them that it's crazy and it makes no sense and nobody would ever want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
With you have to be flexible. If people don't want to buy it,
Yeah.
but they want something else, then you need to listen,
Yeah.
But sometimes people don't want to buy it yet,
Oh,
right? So you just don't know when. It's not just a question of should you pivot, but when do you pivot?
got it.
Because um, I did my MBA in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, Uber was like a black car app. So it was just for like really fancy people to call really nice cars.
Oh,
And at the time, I was pitching basically a rideshare app like Uber
yeah.
in Spain. I had my business degree in Spain. And all the venture capitalists were like, no way. No one would ever want to get in a car with a stranger.
Mm.
That's so unsafe. Have you thought about safety?
Mm-hmm.
And 6 months later,
Yep.
Uber had pivoted from black car to basically a taxi app,
Yeah.
a rideshare app.
Yeah.
They'd pivoted and they'd moved into Madrid.
Wow.
6 months later.
Wow.
So it's like they were selling something that clearly there wasn't really a big market for,
Mm-hmm.
and they pivoted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to listen to your demographic, but also be aware of the trends that are coming up so you can be ahead of that and, make your own version of it so it doesn't get lost in
Yeah,
the sea of the
meanwhile, I
trend.
stopped. Like I took all of that feedback
Mm-hmm.
and was like, oh, nobody wants this.
Mm.
So I'm not going to pursue building this
Mm.
anymore. But in reality, it was about timing, I guess.
Timing, yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, I hadn't invested anything. I was looking for investment,
Right, right.
right? So it wasn't like I was already in the process of building it.
Yeah.
But if I had been and I had gotten all this feedback that nobody wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been asking, should I pivot?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, another company pivoted into my original idea.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're a massive company now.
Yeah. Interesting. There is no specific answer for when you should pivot because there are different layers and factors that affect one's decision, like the revenue. Are you getting enough revenue in relation to how much you've invested? And is it okay? What is okay to invest? No. So that section, but it's also, are you producing something that people want? Are you ahead of the curve? Are you listening to what's coming up next and what you can make your own?
Yeah.
Are there any other points that you think people should be aware of for pivot? Because a lot of the times I think when people hear pivot, they think stop.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like stop entirely.
Stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And not like pursue something different.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, because I think it gets mixed up with burnout sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not heard that. Are you
I've
sure?
heard it in the way that people speak. When people speak, they don't want to say like, I'm burning out. They say I'm pivoting. But they take a job that they don't like. They do something that they don't want to do just because they need to switch up their pace, and rightly so, because they're burning out. They're burning out, but their passion is still in what they're doing.
Interesting.
You see what I mean?
Mm.
So,
but there's a pride to not saying that you're quitting.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't come from that kind of context. Of
I do
people
think
speaking about
it
that way.
interferes. Sorry, not interferes. It's one of the factors for pivoting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's burnout is one of the factors for quitting.
Yeah.
I don't know about, is it a
I think there's a
factor for
crossover.
pivoting?
I do think there's a crossover though, right? Because if you're investing so much, not just money, but you're also your time into something and you're just not getting enough reassurance that you're on the right track and what you're investing is going to come to fruition or bloom.
Or you're going to get a return eventually.
Yeah. That passion, I'm sure, kind of goes down a little bit.
It dims, yeah. For sure.
And so there's a party that needs that reassurance somewhere that, yes, you're doing good. Keep going in it. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think what's really interesting is like I have experience with pivoting businesses and still struggle with it. So I'm curious to know, like, for you, what's your experience with it? Kind of wrestling with the question for the first time.
Yeah, I'm I'm still wrestling with it because I don't really have enough experience for me to extrapolate or analyze from. If I talk about just my own business, which I technically started last year, um, I think there have been many versions, but I haven't specifically super pivoted. But I've questioned pivoting. I've constantly questioned pivoting. But each time I would come right back and be like, no, but I'm getting reassurance from this.
But what
There's
would you
something in
pivot
it.
to, do you think? As like right now you're
I am a personal trainer. The thing that I would pivot to is a gym owner.
mm.
Where
I
it's
don't think
still
of
in
that as
my,
pivoting. I think of that as like a gym owner.
yeah,
I
like
think of that as like
business more.
expanding.
Yeah, but I don't see myself particularly staying in the gym to be a PT.
Sure, but
So that, in a sense,
you're
is not
actually it's
personal
actually
training.
almost like scaling.
I guess so,
Like
yeah.
you're not personally offering the personal training, but your
Yeah.
business is offering personal training.
Yes.
So
See,
it's not
I'm still trying to
even.
figure out if I've ever pivoted
I
other
think of
than,
pivoting as being like you're offering a completely different service to a completely different audience.
oh,
Often. Not
mm,
always. Like, for example, with both of the examples that I talked about, it was the same audience, but different service.
mm.
Different service to the same audience, but sometimes it can be different service to a different audience.
I mean, I do offer a different service to a different audience. I'm also an actor, but that's my separate world. I haven't pivoted
No,
from eat.
no,
You know, I
you're
have
doing
them
both
both.
at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So I don't think I've pivoted with the definition that we have created right now.
No, I don't think, no, you haven't,
Yeah.
but you've questioned it.
Yes.
You've basically questioned whether to do personal training or not,
Yeah.
or to do something else.
Yeah. But again, I don't know if that was like the edge of burnout or me making a smart business decision, because there are times where as a personal trainer, if you have split shifts or you're doing things behind the scene, you don't get to track how much hours you put into your business, and then out of nowhere you get tired. And you think to yourself, okay, but I only physically trained X many people this week. Why am I still exhausted? And then you kind of get confused with how much you're actually investing into this
Mm-hmm.
and how much return you're getting into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my clients, but if someone has to reschedule or someone has to cancel or someone says, I'm going on vacation, which, I mean, life happens, which you can't fault anyone for that.
Yeah.
It still messes with me.
Well, it's money out of your pocket,
Yeah.
right? It stems your income stream, your
Yeah.
income flow.
Yeah. So it's not the riskiest business, but it is still not as stable as I would like it to be.
Yeah, it fluctuates highly.
Yeah. So that's why I tend to think about pivoting. But yeah, I get in the crossfire of, is it because I'm burning out, or is it because realistically the numbers are showing I'm not getting enough of a return at this moment, at this month, because every month is different.
Yeah.
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 But specifically talking about Salutasana and co-founder therapy, which is our next one, well, what we're doing now, I don't think we need to pivot. I don't think we need to particularly do anything different. Just plan for the fact that this world is changing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think, I mean, we're always refining, I think, what it is that we are offering, and we're still kind of really trying to zone in on our target sort of profile, like our demographic, our customer profile, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're talking about marketing terms or business terms. But I think the need is still there, in terms of resources, support, a community for women, entrepreneurs and professional women. Like I don't think that's ever going to go away.
Yes.
I think there's a need for that. How the vehicle in which we deliver it may change. So maybe it's not a retreat in Costa Rica. Maybe it's something else, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we're already planning other events, but they'll just be smaller, like bite-sized.
But still fulfill the purpose.
exactly. Yeah, the purpose is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Our values are still the same and they're still aligned. So generally speaking, yeah, I don't think we're ready to pivot yet.
No, I don't think so either. I just want to remark on the fact that another point of reassurance that you're on the right path is just how much you come back to the same purpose. Because if your purpose keeps changing, it's hard to stay in a lane. Sorry, let me think about this more. You can pivot without losing purpose. But if you lose your purpose, it's really hard for you to even think about where you want to go forward, back, sideways, or whatever, what road you want to take.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to reflect on the fact that both of us throughout our lives have come back to the same purpose of trying to help people
Mm-hmm.
as best as we can. Whatever avenue that is, we will find what works best. We will listen to the people who need something, and we will try to deliver in the best way that we can.
Yeah.
So it's reassuring. That's another wave of reassurance that whatever you create, whatever you're striving towards, if it has a purpose rooted in goodness, I don't know what it would be called, but with love, you'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always think, like with businesses, for example, I like to go through an exercise with like entrepreneurs on really articulating what their vision statements, their mission statements, and their core values are. And I think, yeah, just speaking to what you just said about like purpose, like the purpose is your mission. And the reason why it's important for companies to do that or brands to do that is because I mean, your vision is your North Star. It's where you want to take your company. Your mission is the reason that you get up every day. And for us, it's because we want to help and serve a community. And then your core values, they serve as guideposts in your decision making. So when you come to a fork in the road and you need to make a decision whether to go left or right, you can consult your values and be like, well, does going down this avenue, is taking the business down this path, is it aligned with my values? And I think that it's like quite a useful exercise to do personally as well.
Yeah.
And, your mission and your vision, they say like, they can change, but not often. Like your goals in life, the vision that you have for your life, like it can change, for sure. Like it's not set in stone, but it tends not to change dramatically. And your mission tends also not to change dramatically. Your values are pretty stable. Yeah.
Well, I think we gave a lot of great points as to how you can decide whether you need a pivot or not. You need a purpose, what you're doing this for. Then you need your brand voice. You need to know your values and what you stand by, and that will be, as you said, your North Star. Then you can look at the money that's invested and the revenue, any sort of reassurance. Then you have to listen to what you're giving and if it's working or not. Listen to the people that you want to reach. And then you also have to check your own energy.
Yeah, that's a really good summation. Yep.
I think we're actually doing a really great job on all those counts.
Yeah, I think those check boxes are still currently
good
ticked.
Yeah.
There's no red flags.
No.
I mean, the world is what it is, and businesses, there's always going to be externalities that you can't control.
Right.
So we still look forward to planning that retreat in Costa Rica, but in the meantime, we're excited about planning a lot of things closer to home. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Let's work on the itinerary then.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. I'm glad we checked in, that we were
glad too.
still feeling aligned on the path
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for us.
I'm excited too.
Ready to get started?
Yes,
Here we go.
always.
Bye.
Bye. As we close out season 1, we just want to say thank you to everyone who listened, shared our episodes, attended our first dinner events, supported our retreats, and believed in the kind of community we're trying to build. This season was filled with honest conversations, difficult moments, lessons, and a lot of figuring things out in real time. And we're incredibly grateful you chose to grow alongside us.
We're so excited for what's next. Longer form conversations, guest appearances, video content, and even deeper discussions in season 2.
While the podcast takes a short break between seasons, we'll still be active on Substack, sharing articles, reflections, and behind-the-scenes thoughts from everything we're learning along the way. You can also follow us on Instagram. Links are in our episode notes.
Thank you for joining this session of Co-Founder Therapy. As always, if something resonated, bring it into your next conversation, because growth happens when we speak about what matters. Until next time, keep building, keep listening, and keep having the conversations that move you forward.